I want to talk about a very important topic for many, many people in my age. I'm um, past 70, and the topic is vitamins. Many people feel that they are doing something great to their health, taking a group of vitamins. Well, what's the idea that we are insufficient with the different nutrients we need from our food. And so we need to take vitamins in order to live good life and long life. And sometimes it works. Many times it doesn't, because vitamins put tremendous amount of stress on our liver. And yes, we need vitamins, and yes, we need minerals, but mainly from the fruits and vegetables that we eat. I myself don't eat meat, but also from some poultry that you can get some vitamins. The problem is with taking vitamins which are fat soluble, which means they can create toxicity both in the liver, but mainly in the central nervous system. And of course, if you take vitamin C, it will make your urine look a bit different, but you can get rid of it easily. But when you talk about vitamin A, E, and D, that's a problem. Now, we all need vitamin D. That's why I have a problem with medicine telling us to avoid the outdoors, to avoid the sun. Vitamin D is absorbed very nicely in the light, and the process with which we are absorbing it is as important, if not more, from the food that we eat, and definitely than the vitamins that we take. Now, there's another reason why people tell you not to allow yourself to be vitamin free and not to rely on your diet. And the reason is that we have free radicals. You probably heard a million times the word free radicals. Well, we do. If you ever beat an apple and left it outdoors, you'll see it will oxidate. And when it oxidates, it changes color. And so definitely the change of color shows you that there are radicals. That's the oxidation. It's such a natural process. But why do we need them in an older and older age? Because we don't have a good enough circulation. The worse your circulation is, the worse the situation is in your body. So instead of simply taking antioxidants, what we need is to exercise wisely. And the wise exercises, to begin with, are taking into account the state of your body. For example, I was in a long trip. I was in a very happy trip. And, I was in Canada with my children and with my partner, and we took a look at all the waterfalls in Quebec City. And the only price I paid is for social reasons, something that is more the case these days than ever in the past. We went and ate 2 or 3 times in restaurants. And some restaurants agreed with us, and with me especially, and some didn't. The difference between me and my partner is that she knows how to not finish what's on the plate. And being the grandson of my grandmother that experienced as a Jewish person the Second World War, and of my parents who were worried about me, I ate and made sure the plate will be finished, and still have a hard time dealing with the concept that some food is there. Unfortunately, that's what I gave to my kids, which is not a good thing. Yeah? My partner, her parents have never, ever pushed her, and she has the right habit to stop when she stops, and she looks that. She looks great. Okay. So that's one thing. Then I went to Ohio to work on one of my most beloved clients. He invited me alone there, and I also gave a lecture in Ohio. Again, 3 times a week, food. Since I came back to San Francisco, I did not go to a restaurant. And the best day I had was a day where I fasted from my normal food. I didn't exactly fast. I ate fresh fruits, vegetable, and juice that I put out. And it really changed my body completely. So much that I found myself going less to the bathroom, but also I was able to do what I did 5 and 10 years ago, and this is go to the beach just with my bathing suit. Something I haven't done for a long time. I used to go with my clothes to the park. So the important thing that I want to tell you is that diet does make a big difference. In my case, it put me back on my beach. The cold beach that people are dressing with coats to walk in, the one where I used to bathe in the ocean frequently. Now I'm starting to just bathe in the ocean when it's 60 degrees or more, 19 Celsius or more. But that's new for me, that in my 70s, I'm returning to what I've done until the age of 66. That's a big deal. Now, what's so good about it? The coolness is one thing that makes the body feel good. The fact that the blood warms up the body after being cold is the most important thing. Now, when can I not do that? If I came tired from a trip where I overate, if I didn't sleep enough. If you don't sleep enough, then you should never be as active as you could be. So the important thing is that you allow yourself to be as active as you could be according to your ability. I have an example that I've expressed in one of the articles where I was interviewed to authority magazines. You know that Senator Reid was a very famous senator. He was the head of the Senate for a while. And he was a boxer. And at the age of 86, he still decided to do the same kind of training that he did when he was young. And he got injured and died out of it. So you need to always know what your limit is. I definitely was in a better shape when I was 50. But even at my worst shape now, I walk 50 or 60 blocks. And even today, I walked several blocks from my home instead of driving to be refreshed for this session. And in my best days, I bathe in an ocean where everybody just hold their breath seeing me bathing. That's in a nice weather. Even then, most people don't go to the ocean. And I do. And one of my neighbors called me a naked boy. In fact, some of my neighbors were really disappointed seeing me with a shirt walking in a park. I don't blame them. They basically saw me for 40 years running in the ocean, in sun and in rain, and no problem. But I know my limitations. I know when you stop. I know when you continue. So learning your body and learning kinesthetic awareness, feeling your body and responding to it is important. Now, my basic training is a training not only of what to do with others, which is really my goal, because I really don't want to perish this world without feeling that I brought an army of people who helped the world become a better place. And I'm far from perishing, I must say. But what I'm saying is, I want to make sure that I have a legacy. Legacy in a real way, not in words, but in actions. But the basic training is just the beginning of my training. And most of it is on you. Again, you want your circulation to get rid of the radicals that you don't need. You want your circulation to take away the oxidation around your body, which is so natural to the process of metabolism. Every metabolic action leads to oxidation. The exchange between nutrients and oxygen in the body, the glucose and the oxygen, leads to oxidation. It's natural. It's what should be there. But when you're a kid and you run and you fall, you saw us in a trampoline, and we're not kids, right? When you're a kid and you run and you fall, the oxidation happens on its own. But when you become an adult, you have to earn it. You have to earn it. Even at the age of 100, and I worked on several 100 and 101 years old people. So it's so important that we work exactly on that, on purifying the body with our own circulation. Nothing could be better than that. So how do we get good circulation? Everybody talks today about doing a lot of work in the gymnasium, in the gyms. But then many people get injured from that. You repeat again the same motion. The body gets tired of the motion that you repeat. And then eventually the muscles get injured. And you don't know why they get injured. You were in such a good shape in your 30s, and now in your 40s, you got injured. What happened? Well, what happened is the muscles are tired of the same motion you do. That's why what I'm saying is the action of good health is action of addition. Not only repetition. Repetition is great. It's a big portion of our work, but addition. What is the addition? Add muscles you never worked before. Toe muscles that you don't use, but they're available for you. You know that armless people sometimes feed themselves with the toes. It's an action of addition, of using muscles that you never used before. That's very important. So your tissue starts to have variety of movement. In my classes, I often start the class with people walking and running backwards. When I take people to the pool, warm pool, where we can stay for about 40, 50 minutes, beside the fact that from time to time we leave and take a cold shower in the middle, just so we won't be too warm all the time and the tissues will swell. But in a warm pool, we stretch ourselves and move ourselves in a way that we don't do as often outside of water. Water is an opportunity to do exercise we couldn't do before. I've learned it with my paralyzed clients because I work with many people with progressive muscular dystrophy. And people were trying to work their muscles until the muscles died. And they themselves overworked their muscles until they died. But in water, we could do a lot of repetition because thanks to the buoyancy assistance, to the fact that we lost some of the gravity pull, we were able to activate many of the muscles. So now, when I take my classes to the pool, we do all kinds of stretches we could not do outside of the pool. We could do all kinds of movements we could not do outside of the pool. And people are very grateful to that kind of ability. So it's important that we understand the principles of working on the body. Number one, learn about muscles you never knew you had and start to use them. And start to use them regularly. And that you can find in my book, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing. And you also, of course, can find it in my class. I would say that those 12 days that we call here training, and in Israel we call it retreat. Those 12 days is something you should repeat annually, if you ask me, just to be able to get to all those concepts, because they're so new for all of us. And we can definitely use what we never used before. When you start to use muscles you never used before, then you start to build new neuronal connections. And when you build new neuronal connections, you prevent shaking in old age, you prevent Parkinson's, you prevent also multiple sclerosis. Starting to work on muscles you never used before also can help to prevent many cardiovascular problems. So first of all, use muscles you never used before. Then integrate them with the muscles you always used. We still want to use them. We just want to use more and at greater ease. Learn the importance of subtlety. On the one hand, the last couple of days, I ran between 4 to 6.4 miles on the beach, just with my bathing suit. But I rested today. But the thing is, you need to learn to work vigorously, but also to work in a subtle way on your body. And when you learn muscles that you never used and you start to use them, basically in every part of your body, then your body starts to improve no matter in what age. And whenever you lose a motion, do anything that you can do to either gain it back or gain part of it back into your 90s and 100s. Let's first of all move our shoulder in rotating motion in both directions and tap on the tip of the shoulder and visualize that the shoulder is moving in rotating motion and that the tip of the shoulder is what's doing the motion. So tap on the tip of your shoulder, tap on the tip of your shoulder, and visualize as if the tip of the shoulder is what moves your shoulder in rotating motion. Breathe deeply and slowly. So move the shoulder in rotating motion in both directions. Feel if it is smooth or not smooth. This is the place for massage and body work, where if it is not smooth, we work on the muscles to make it smoother. Breathe deeply and breathe slowly. Move your arm in rotating motion. Breathe deeply and slowly. Tap and say, fingertips, fingertips, fingertips. And move your arm in rotating motion again. Now, feel if there's a difference between the two shoulders. Have a sense of it. And sense if there is a difference between the two shoulders. And move your two shoulders in rotating motion. This is such a simple motion. Let's walk to the side a little bit to just relax from sitting a little bit in this session. And now, move your shoulder in rotating motion in both directions. That's the opposite hand. So I work right now on the left. Now I'm working on the right. See, this is something you do because so many people have shoulder tension in the middle of the day. They get tight. And so now we want to loosen up that shoulder in such a simple way as full movement. Tap and say to yourself, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip, shoulder tip. And do it for a while. Breathe deeply and slowly. And now, move the shoulder again in rotating motion in both directions. Without loosening your shoulders, your neck will always be tight. And if it is always tight, blood stops from coming to the head. And then we have trouble. So now move your whole arm in rotating motion in both directions. Move the arm in rotating motion in both directions. Now tap and say fingertips. It's amazing, but whenever I'm asking for people, you can also tap on the arm itself. When I'm asking to people, think fingertips, then the whole arm becomes lighter because you stop yourself from tensing your abdominal muscles and your chest muscles from doing the work. So tap and think your fingertips are doing the motion, and move the arm in rotating motion in both directions. And now again, as I've shown before, put your elbow on your head and bring the arm back and tap on your chest. And my bungalow here, okay? Tap on your chest. Such a good thing to tap on the thymus. And again, move your arm in rotating motion. Think as if your fingertips are doing the motion. Tap and say fingertips, fingertips, fingertips. And now move the shoulder in rotating motion. We take for granted every movement. For example, we think opening and closing the hand is easy, right? So it's for granted. The truth of the matter is, opening it for most people is harder than closing it because we type, we write with a pencil. So opening it and keeping it open for a while is a wonderful exercise because it helps us to strengthen muscles that are normally weak with us. That's why when we do body work with people, I get them to stretch the hand and I massage it like this. So that's a very important thing, to open the hands this way, to open them like this all the way and stay for a while with them open. That's the opposite of what we normally do. That's very, very important. And it takes some time to start to work on the body and to learn each time what is that we need to do for the body. Let's just finish by running sideways and backwards. And we'll do it like that. Alexa, give us 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
Running backwards is good. And running forwards is good. And running forwards is good. And running backwards is good. And slowly, we're only giving ourselves 2 minutes, but loosen up your body running after we start to do an awareness exercise on our shoulders. And there's much more awareness. We woke up many, many neurons. Every time you do a new movement, you wake up a lot of connections to your brain. But then you need to repeat it for a couple of months before the brain stops having this new activity. So anytime you succeed to do something new in your body, it's worth a lot of repetition. And what's new is that we have to always do what we normally don't. So when we run sideways, we want to make sure that there's some movement in our foot, right? We call it eversion and inversion, but it doesn't matter. It moves in rotation, not only from side to side. You don't want to stem on your foot. And that's what's so nice about the carpet that I have here, in that it's soft enough that I can do it hard enough that allows me to move at ease. And you breathe deeply and slowly. And eat yourself very nicely. 2 minutes sometimes is very, very significant. If you do it 2 minutes several times a day, your day is very, very different. Better than the cup of coffee that you drink. Alexa, stop. So we did 2 minutes. It was great. And we can feel our shoulders. So now let's massage the head a little bit. Separate between the skull and the scalp. Breathe deeply and slowly. Rub your hands. And we'll do the exercise of palming, which is rubbing the hands. And it's good that we loosen up the shoulders and the body for it. And putting the hands very gently around the eye orbits. I want to tell you, I have 2 addictions. One is my weakness, one is my strength. My weakness is I'm a chocoholic. My strength is I'm a palmaholic. I palm a lot. So I'm putting my hands around the eye orbits, the cheekbones, and the forehead. And we breathe deeply into abdomen. Alexa, give us 6 minutes. Alexa, give us 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now.
So the minimum of palming is 6 minutes today, because we already started before. Ask Alexa to give us the time. It's probably 7 minutes. 6 minutes or more is really good for the eyes. Let's first of all sense our breath. Since we loosen up our shoulders, feel how the upper back feels, how the upper and the middle back feel, how the lower back feels, how the head feels, how do your ribs feel. So when you breathe, you don't breathe to one place. Many people say chest breath, abdominal breath. In some ways, you breathe to your whole body. You feel movement of blood everywhere, movement of circulation everywhere, from your head to your toes, from your fingers to your toes, from the left to the right side. You feel movement everywhere. That's the first part of it. And then there's a second part. And the second part is that because you feel all over the torso and sense in your head and sense in your legs the breathing, you make it slow. The exhalation is slow, the inhalation is slow. And the exhalation is slower than the inhalation, but both of them are slow. And the cells have the ability to be nourished. The blood flows and gets rid of all the waste product, including the radicals. And a sense of neutrality and relaxation starts to be a part of your life. Now let's visualize we see darkness, maybe even blackness, and relax. The most important thing when you breathe is to not strain. Just slow it down. Feel the air all over your torso, but sense the air everywhere in your body. So in your back, in your ribs, in your abdomen, feel the air, but also sense it, even if you can't feel it, in your head and in your legs. And breathe slowly and deeply. Deeply and slowly. Every palming can increase the relaxation. So if you do it 3 times a day, every day, you'll find that every week it gets better and better. You can listen to your breath. You can feel the movement. But you can also listen to music. You can listen to my MP3s where I guide you through palming. We also have it on CDs. You can meditate. It's a powerful meditation where we close the eyes and we feel our inside. So breathe deeply and slowly. Slowly and deeply. Alexa, stop. Slowly take your hands off. So while palming, as you saw, we also want to adjust to the sun. We want to look at details. We want to look at the distance. There's so many things we need to do. And that's why I have 2 big events. One is the 6-day seminar that we have here every February. And this is going to be the 3rd basic training that we're doing. We're licensed by the Bureau of Post-Secondary Education and accepted by 3 different organizations as continuing education. But that's a small part of it. The big part of it is it's a unique way of living, a unique way of working that can impact everyone in his or her life.
The link for that in the chat.
So I would like to open the place for questions.
Go ahead.
Nice to talk to you. I have glaucoma, and I was wondering if you had any suggestions for lowering the eye pressure.
Well, first of all, I do. But second of all, let me explain to you that, in my opinion, glaucoma is death of the optic nerve.
Yes.
And it's a result of poor blood flow to the optic nerve. And it's a result of high pressure, as the medical profession says. And also the high pressure is a result of lack of blood flow to the eyes. So to begin with, it's very important to loosen up the neck a lot. The exercise today were great. There are many others that we do. And I do meet with people individually, whether in person or on Zoom, and we can continue the work. Robi, he left. Okay. So that's basically what we do for glaucoma. We loosen up the neck, create balance use between the eyes, and get the body to work in harmony as much as it can.
There we go. Sorry, guys. My iPad's playing up in the early morning in Australia. Hey, Meir, so thanks for this. Just a quick question. If I have multiple conditions like nearsightedness and astigmatism, do I do all the prescribed exercises from your Vision for Life book for both sets every day, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And you also could work with my video Vision for Life.
Yes, I saw that. And just one more quick question. If, say, I dedicate, say, 2 hours a day to these exercises because I work 8 hours in the office, is that overdoing it, or is that just right to improve my vision? Or
if you do that, then next time that I'll see you will be without your glasses.
Yeah. I like the confidence. Thanks for that, Meir.
Well, let me say something very important to you and to others. I don't take the medical profession too seriously. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you exactly why. In the 1800s, they decided that we cannot improve our vision. And, one thing that we all know is that before you get the right answer, you have to ask the right question. And they never asked themselves the question, but if you could improve your vision, how? They never had that question. So they give you glasses. That's easy cope out. Just like if you be weak, I'll give you crutches. Just walk with the crutches, keep your legs weak. That doesn't work. And so eventually with those glasses, many more problems will come, like retinal detachment and macular degeneration and other problems. So you should learn to integrate the exercise in your normal workday, that you look at the distance before you start to work, that you do long swing, that you stand, move yourself from side to side and see things moving opposite in the middle of working with your computer, that you do some peripheral work as an answer to the fact that you have to look steadily at the computer. So the point is, I know what stands against me. What stands against me is a concept, okay? What stands against me is an idea, but not the truth. You see, basically it's a dogma. I had a wonderful T-shirt. I should get it again. My karma ran over my dogma, right? And this is basically, it's not truth that we all think is truth, and we don't do anything about our eyes. And what's the result? We need the ophthalmologist again, again, again. Our eyes become weaker, and the whole body becomes weaker because the eyes connect to the whole body. Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks, Meir.
Hi, my name's Olivia. So I've had 9 retinal detachments in my right eye
How do
by
you
the
see?
age of
How do you see in the right eye?
not well. I've got a big blind spot from about here to here that there's nothing. And then I
How is
also
it-
have a macular hole.
How your vision in the left eye?
It's okay. I have a lot of floaters, and have had like holes in my retina, but no detachments. But I can see. I do wear prescription glasses for my left eye. But yeah, I guess my question is preventative for my left eye, so no retinal detachments. So I can continue to see for my left eye.
I had a case just like you in the 90s, in the early 90s. A person came to me, unfortunately, he just passed away, but he came to me and he had exactly the same thing, 9 detachments in his right eye and 2 small tears in his left. And when we finished working, then what happened is that his left eye stopped having detachment, and his vision improved, and his right eye started to see light, which it could not do before. In your case, you still see light, I'm sure, and some shadows because you have a big black blind spot, but you see something around it, I assume. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Hi, Madhu.
Hi, Meir. So my question is that I've had some trauma recently and my vision has gotten blurry. So is that because of the trauma and can it recover?
What did you have this week?
I had some trauma, some
Trauma.
yeah,
Yeah, trauma affects the eyes very badly.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But can you recover them after the trauma
It
subsides?
depends in the case and depends what happened to you. What happened to you?
Well, it's my early infant trauma, right? I was an unwanted baby, neglected and abused. So that's come up again. And
In your psychological treatment?
yes, I am.
Yeah, then in my opinion, it probably will come back without much problem.
Okay, great. I just wanted to confirm that because
All right, see you again.
Hi, Meir. Thank you for doing this webinar. It's been really interesting. I had 2 short things. The first thing was, are you doing any, I don't know, like meetups or courses in the UK? Because I would really love to join in the UK if you're doing any.
So I'm going to be in 3 places in Europe, October, November, which is going to be Valencia, a big conference on natural vision improvement. I'm one of the speakers there, and I have a day workshop. I'm going to be in Barcelona, and I'm going to be in Rome, Italy. if you know people in the UK that can arrange for me a seminar, I will go. I used to go to the UK often, and I don't anymore, but I used to go a lot to Devon, England, and London. And so if somebody in the UK who sees this wants to arrange for me a workshop in an incredible way can tell me that they can, that's the time that I could come there.
Okay, I have a teacher, and I know a couple teachers, so I'll have a chat with them and see. That would be amazing.
Otherwise, Europe is not that far, not like San Francisco. You know?
True. The other thing was when I was doing those little kind of like exercise drills, walking backwards, rolling the shoulders, I noticed that there was a lot of like discomfort in my shoulders, and I was wondering if, because sometimes, with like faulty sensory perception, you can feel that it's hurting, but is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm just wondering what you thought about that.
Well, it's good that you feel what happens in your shoulders, because if you move the shoulder in rotating motion, you move the arm in rotating motion, it hurts you. That means that some of the movement is being restricted in some ways. And that's where body work comes on. That's why I'm promoting so much one of the many reasons, I'm promoting so much the basic training, which we have a link to in our place. That's one reason it'd be worth your while to come all the way to San Francisco and spend some time with us, because you need, on top of the movement with the shoulder and movement with the rest of your body, because often other places of the body affects the shoulders better than the shoulders themselves. But also body work, in addition to the movement, will make a difference. I don't think body work on its own is good enough. And I think to help movement, we need body work. So we work together. I work with many people with paralysis, with joint restrictions, with immobility, and I was able to help them by combining body work as well as movement. And it's what's interesting, sensory work, working on the ears and on the eyes, makes also a huge difference for the body. So I'm so happy you brought it up. It's good you felt your discomfort, but now we need the next step. So get my book, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing, and look at our webinars online. We have classes online. And if you have all the ability to come to San Francisco, come in August. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Meir?
Yes.
Hi, Meir. I'm, I took some bad advice. Staring at the sun wasn't smart, but then, if you're in a barrel, you go off Niagara Falls and you survive, and you do the same thing again. You take the same advice, except different advice. Castor oil on a heating pad. Castor oil is corrosive if you heat it, and you apply that to the eye, that could be damaging. So basically, I've noticed when I do sunning and palming, I'm noticing the mirror, the black frame on my mirror I see much better than I did about a year ago. So there is improvement in my vision, but still, since I listened to this advice about putting castor oil on a cloth and a heating pad applied to it, the effect, of course, was detrimental. It caused corrosion. It's corrosive. I'm also going to a reflexologist, and he's working on my toes. He's working on the nerves, the optic nerve.
Let me ask you a question. Do you walk a lot?
Yes.
Emil, do you walk a lot?
I should probably walk a lot more.
Well, you need circulation. So, for example, if you walk a lot, and especially in Toronto right now, that I know you're from, it's
Yes.
going to get warmer and warmer. So if you walk a lot, finish your walk by either a cold shower or putting a cold towel, with water for 1 minute, maybe 45 seconds around your eyes. That's going to make a very big difference. Do lots of palming, but you need to do, like, let's say, the shoulder exercise we did today, plus many others, and do lots of palming when your body is relaxed enough for it. But you really need to do exercises. You need to get out of your thoughts, out of your mind, out of the feeling that you have, and do more movement in your body. And I'm sure your son will agree with me. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
He also is getting weaker eyes. He's on the computer because he does his college work over the internet. And
So every
Yeah.
time you look at the computer,
Yes.
before that, look at the distance and relax your eyes at the distance, because it's much harder for the eyes to look from near than to look from far. And
Well,
so,
Elizabeth told him that. You know,
Yeah.
Elizabeth here
yeah,
in
yeah, it's a
Toronto.
question of discipline. But when he'll see that you're walking,
Yes.
then he'll see that you're getting better, he'll work on himself. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you
Yes.
both very much. Okay?
Thank you, Meir.
Thank you, Emil.
Thank you so much, Meir, for this time with you. I'm in my 70s, and I have two things in my eyes. I have dry eyes. I do use computer time a lot. So I've been doing eye drops and cold compresses and try to blink a lot.
You also need to loosen up your middle back. Just looking at you, your middle back is very stiff. So you don't have enough blood flow to your head. So what we did today, walking backwards and sideways, is good. You also need to be outdoors a lot. Do you go outdoors a lot?
Yeah, I do a lot of walking.
Lovely. So walk bobackwards and sideways.
Okay. I do have cataracts in my right eye, and I'm starting because I have your two books. It says they're looking at the distance and looking at details, and
we also have a very nice cataract lecture that you can download and work with. We sell it, right, for a pretty good price. But looking at the distance is very important. You see, I was able to help quite a few people to stop their cataract from expanding. And the lens keeps expanding until the last day of your life. So if you stop your cataract from expanding, you will be able to either postpone your surgery, and I know of one who postponed it by 30 years, or not do it. But if the cataract grows beyond repair, it's a whole different story. So go ahead.
But my eyes, my right eye, where the cataract is, I use it for reading, the near vision, and the left eye does good for far vision.
So you have to balance it. You have to use the eye which is good for reading, also for distance, and the eye that is good for far vision to read. Because the next thing that can happen to you, imbalance leads to many problems, including glaucoma. So we have to create balance.
Could you repeat it again?
I'm not saying that the near eye. Well, we have to create balanced use. So if one eye is, which eyes you're reading with?
I read with the right eye.
Right. So if you look at the right eye, you have to work with it quite a bit to look at the distance.
I see.
And if you look at the distance with your left eye, you have to do quite a bit to read with it. I can't wait to see you in one of my classes or individually and help you. But you really need to work on getting, it's not like the left will ever see what the right sees from near, but it will participate more in your reading. And it's not like the right will ever see what the left sees from far, but it will participate more, and it will be more balanced and easier for the body. And that's what I was talking all the time in this session, how balance is important. Okay, thanks. So I have
another question that I don't understand. I used to wear glasses for like 10 years, and then the last 3 years I don't need glasses anymore. And then I go to the eye doctor, and he says that the reason why I don't need glasses no more is because somehow about the cataracts. I don't know. So I don't understand why he said that. Why they said that.
Well, I'm happy you don't need the glasses. Shows you that we don't always need glasses, right? It has to do with all kinds of things, like the lens sometimes becomes stiffer. So if you were myopic, the stiffness of the lens gets you to see a bit farther. But it doesn't really matter. The point is you don't need glasses. That's fantastic. Okay. And now you need to improve your capacity to see farther with the right and to
Yes.
see nearer with the left.
Suddenly. Okay.
And that will change everything for you. And you may need cataract when you're 110 or in your grave. Talk to you later, huh?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Meir.
Hi again. Just when you mentioned the long swing, inside your book there's a long swing variation where you bend down and in a half circle.
Right. So what happens is this. One long swing is we move from side to side and we see everything moving in the opposite direction. One is then we close our eyes and imagine that. One is that we bend down and see everything go up and see everything goes down, right?
Yep.
And one is that we move like this and like that. So we do everything. We see things going opposite, we see them going up, we see them going down. So it's a full long swing.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. I would like to see all of you in person. Those of you who live in Southern Europe, well, today we are in Independence Day in Israel. I'm very happy about that. Tomorrow I'm going to celebrate it in a nice dinner. I shouldn't eat another dinner, tell you that. Anyway, but I will celebrate it. It's going to be Yemenite dinner. So those of you who live in the southern part of Europe can come to Israel. Those of you who can make it here to San Francisco, we have somebody from Czechia, somebody from Israel, and somebody from France who are coming here. I would love to see as many people coming from the United States, from the Bay Area, and from anywhere in the world. We can give this point student visas for those who want to do it with a student visa. So I would love to see as many of you coming here and learning, because number one, for yourself, and number two, there is no teaching like my teaching. And I would love to see a situation where we learn how to improve hearing, seeing, and the body while not negating necessary medical treatments, and in fact encouraging people to do what needs to be done. At the same time, avoiding the need for the medical treatment and improving ourselves as much as possible.